Hi there, Lori here, and this time I'm going to show you how I work from a Windows folder, pulling in my papers and my embellishments into a template and working with it from there. So first I have a Scrapping with Liz template, and what I always want to do is make sure first I like it down here. Make sure I insert a live text box because I like making sure that I can credit my designers with their name and the name of the kit and or template when I'm posting it later on to Facebook or in a gallery. So this is a Scrapping with Liz, and the name is Template Revisited 30. So I'm going to make sure that I put that in that live text box. And then also, the kit that I'm going to use is a Sherwood Studios, and it's called Life Story. So Sherwood Studios Life Story Kit. And now I have my credits right there at the side of my page. So first of all, this particular template has some live photo spots. It has some plain pings. It has some journaling, and with Scrapping with Liz templates, generally the journaling is live, so I could just type in there. This date is also live, so I could just type in there if I want to. And what I have done already is I've pulled in some photos that I know I'll put into those live spots. And I'm going to show you how, instead of using those photos, I could actually use papers if I'd like to. So first of all, you can see that I've got my kit open over here. And here's a paper that I know I'm going to want to use. This instead of saying title, this is going to be the cover. Let me just show you the cover page for when we went to Maine. So this is going to say Maine on it, and I'll do that later on off the video. But I want to show you that I can just grab my paper from my Windows folder, and I can pull it over and drag it into a live photo spot. And then if I like, because this is live, I can zoom it up and get a totally different look to it. So that is one of the really nice features that I love about just working in a Windows folder. You can see here that I am in, let me just show you where I am. I have a folder called DigiKits, and within that I have different stores or designers. So this is my Sherwood Studios, and I'm going to open up Life Story. That's the one that you just saw that I was working from. And I'm just going to make it small enough so that we can see the working area, as well as some of the things in the kit at the same time. So I could do this, but like I said, I know I have certain photos that I would like to pull in. So I'm just going to pull those photos over. And as you know, we can move those around however we would like within the live photo spots. I can, whoops, this is, I like my aspect ratio to always be locked so I can work with it from there. So many times with a template like this, I will go grab everything. So I started outside the working area and I grabbed everything in here, and I will right mouse, aspect ratio, and lock. So that now if I grab this, I can just resize it and it doesn't change the aspect ratio. And if I want to shrink it or grow it in a certain direction, I hold the Shift key when I do that. So that's my preferred method because that is the default for the newer programs. It was not the default for the older programs. I'm going to get rid of this text box. I don't need it, so I'm just deleting it out of there. And so I've got my 3 photos pulled in to where I want them to be. So now with my papers, since these are not live, I can't just pull in my paper and drop them in. So one choice would be I could make these live. I could say insert empty frame. I could angulate slightly to match the box underneath it. I could go grab that and then arrange. So there's my make the same size. And here's my align vertically, align horizontally, group and ungroup, which now puts it at the same level. If I look down through and I find it, I could go select just that back one and get rid of it. And now I can grab my paper and just drop it in. And then, because it's live, I can do my favorite thing, which is zooming my paper up within that to make the look of the pattern change. But of course, if I haven't been able to, or I haven't taken the time to make those live, and I just have to work with them as they are, I need to do a different method. So what I'll do is, generally, I will grab all of the papers in a kit when I'm working on a page, and I will just drag them over into the Photos spot. Now, if you double click on a template and open it up, you will not get the Content, Photo, and Pages tabs at the side. You will only be able to see the content if you have things loaded into packets, P-A-K-I-T, packets. But I don't work in the packets unless it's strictly a Creative Memories or a Panstoria type of thing. I work in the Photos tab, and I usually stay in the Photos Not Used. I switch it from All Photos, the way it generally comes up, and I go to Photos Not Used, so I can see what I've got for photos in here, even though they're not all photos, and use those. So once I've got my papers pulled over, I can then select my different elements, and I'm sorry, I did that very quickly, didn't I? I can select my element, I can go over to my paper, right mouse, and say fill the selected element with this photo. So I can work my way through, and then with the things that are underneath or in different spots that aren't necessarily paper or aren't necessarily the blocks, I can just fill those the same way until I've built my whole page the way I want from this. Now, I don't pull over the elements and drop them over here. What I do with the elements is I just drop them right on the page itself. And as I go through finding what particular elements I might want to work with, I don't even necessarily worry about changing the size. Sometimes I will pull over to the side so that they're not totally in my way, and I will just drag and drop things over to the side until I have all the pieces or most of the pieces that I'm pretty sure I'm going to use on here. And then once I have those, let me just make that full size so you can see. Once I have these over here, now I can start bringing them in and playing with them and doing with them whatever I like. And it might mean that I'm pulling them off to the side to get them out of the way. With this, I want it to sit underneath on top of that one. So I'm going to select both pieces and group and ungroup. And now it's right back there where I wanted it to be, and I can tweak it a little bit more afterwards. But you get the feeling. I do grab everything. So again, I stayed off the page itself and dragged over and grabbed everything. And then at some point, I'll put my heavy shadow on just so I can get a starting look at how it's going to appear once I've got my shadow in place. And that helps me as I'm starting to build in the elements. Most of the time, I will take off some of the extraneous elements that I know that I will fill in with just pieces straight from the kit. There's no need to take the flower and add a paper to it and change it when I've got so many beautiful flowers and different pieces here that I probably want to bring in. In fact, I could bring in this star banner and get rid of this entire banner. But one fun thing about these banners that come in pieces is I can actually fill every piece individually and build myself a nice looking banner all on its own. So many different choices with that. But you can see I'm just